Hey, good morning. I thought that maybe it would be a good idea to make a video about how to ride a motorcycle. This is for Karen, so that she has some reference video to watch. Now, before you get on your bike, you do a walk around, and imagine that we've already done that because I'm plugged in here, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So, here I am. The bike is off. It's on the side stand. And we're going to do fine CC first, which is fuel. The petcock is right here, and I know that it's on because I know that it's on. Ignition. Turn the ignition on, but the light is not on. Now it's in neutral because I've lifted up right here on that. Neutral. Engine cutoff is on kill, so I'm going to set it to run. And clutch and choke. Probably also kickstand. Put the kickstand up, turn the choke on, pull the clutch in. I also have my hand on the front brake too because that makes things easier. I'm on a little bit of a decline here, so I'm going to put my foot on the rear brake so that I have my hand free. It's a little frosty this morning, as you can see. Turn the choke down. Make sure that it's running just fine. If you turn the choke off and you hit the throttle and it dies, it's not warm enough yet. My kickstand is up. If I leave my kickstand down and put it in gear, the bike will stall. It's a good sign, as I have a kickstand cut off. And riding away with your kickstand down is bad. So we're in gear. I have my clutch in. This is my clutch hand, left hand, clutch hand, right hand, brake, right hand, brake, left hand, clutch. So we need a little gas, so we got to get up the hill. So we're going to let the clutch out. You watch my hand, we're letting the clutch out, and I can pull it in. And watch what both my hands are doing as I'm off the clutch and on the throttle, right? Sorry about that, it's a little frosty this morning. Woo, my toes are cold. So we're just gonna start out, right? Let the clutch out very gently. Give it a little gas so it doesn't stall. Put your feet up on the pegs. Off we go. Gotta stop. Make sure we don't hit anybody. The clutch out. On the throttle. First gear. Clutch in. Pull up. Second gear. Hear that the engine starts to race really fast, and there comes a point where the power just sort of tops out, especially with a single. And you can just do this, clutch in off the throttle, and I'm just rolling. Here the engine and the rear wheel are not connected. I can pull the clutch out, roll it on, that gear, upshift a little bit. This right here, this is where you see your engine revs. You know, I'm about 3. That's sort of the low end of the power band on this bike, but it's quiet, so I roll along in 3. So you notice I'm using both brakes at the same time when I have to slow for traffic. I let the clutch out slowly, give it gas at the same time, roll it up a hill. There's a cop up ahead, so we're just going to quietly roll past, downshift, give a little power up the hill. Right. Off the throttle and on the clutch, semi-simultaneously. Pull up on the gear shift. We're in the next gear. Isn't this fun? The better you get at it, the quicker you do everything. So what's happening is I'm rolling off the throttle, pulling in the clutch, and pulling up on the gear shifter all sort of at the same time. You know, you've got to be off the clutch to pull up on the gear shifter. Sometimes, but we're not going to talk about power shifting right now. That's later. You gotta slow down, so you downshift. Watch out for these people and this dog. And that is how you ride a motorcycle. So you'll eventually do this by ear. You won't have to look at your hands or look at what you're doing. You can downshift. This engine has gobs of engine braking. So I occasionally don't even bother to hit the brakes and I just downshift and let the engine slow me down. Notice how I'm not opening up the throttle all the way, all the time. I'm just giving a little bit of gas, just enough to get me where I'm going. I do have the resistance of the road, so that keeps me from really screwing it on. Of course, if I have a bigger motor, it wouldn't. I'm just going to keep rolling here and shifting and rolling along behind traffic, and I'm going to keep a really good distance behind this last guy because the roads are kind of frosty and I'm on dual sport tires, and KLR brakes are okay, but they're not the best in the world, and you don't want to tailgate people because it's morning and there's no guarantee everybody's had their coffee. I'm just going to try to, hopefully the video is capturing what my hands are doing. You can see the timing and hear the timing as I off the throttle, on the clutch, and I upshift. And eventually you don't even think about it. I'm not even consciously making my foot do anything. It just, I don't even know. It's lizard brain. It just knows how to shift. And a dead possum. So when I'm rolling along, I don't generally have my hands on the levers. If I'm in a ton of traffic, I'll keep my hand resting on the clutch. We'll come up to a stop here and we'll bonk down the gears and shift up all over again. Slow is the hardest part, and that's tough because when you're first learning, all you want to do is go slow, but slow is tough. The faster you go, the easier it is to keep everything up. We're just going to choose this lane because I don't want to be behind a dump truck. Oh, and we have a green light. So here I'm slowing down and I'm downshifting to match my speed. And then I'm letting the clutch out. A little power up the hill. Because it is Thunderdome through here in the morning. I'm gonna go over a lane. See, mirror check, then head check. Mirror check, head check, every day. Oh, I'm just gonna go by this guy. Mirror check is not enough. Head check is good. Go down this way. Nobody's coming. And I'm just in gear. I'm rolling along. I have no idea what gear I'm in, but it doesn't really matter because I can hear the engine is doing the right thing. And then I'm going to lay off the throttle and you can hear the engine braking. Right? We're on 2k RPM, which isn't great, but I can just speed right back up again. Oh, my fingers are cold. I'm going to turn this thing up. ride along with me and I'll teach you how to ride a motorcycle. You'll be a pro. It's important to learn each motorcycle. You're going to have your specific bike and it's going to have its own quirks. Bikes are smaller than cars and slightly more delicate and slightly more fussy, especially if you get an older one or something like this. So you listen for changes in the way they sound or new noises, and you can determine where those noises are coming from by isolating. So if I hear a noise, it sounds like it's in time with the wheels turning, and pull the clutch in, and if the noise sticks around, I know that it's not the engine. I know that it's something in the wheels or the chain, the brakes. If I pull the clutch in and roll and hit the brakes and the noise goes away, I've just isolated it to the brakes. If you pull the clutch in, hey, there's my buddy, hi! You pull the clutch in and rev the engine, and instead of sticking with the speed of the wheels, that new sound goes at the speed of the engine. You know, that's where it's coming from. Stay aware of all the noises that your bike is making. Keeps you ahead of the maintenance. See, now this is the fun part. It's like you can't be afraid of opening up the throttle, because that's the fun part. It's more fun when it's not a commute. What are you gonna do? Before you hop on the bike. Oh, T-clocks. I don't remember what T-clocks is. Tires. Something. Yeah, I don't know. On this bike, you got to do a walk around pretty regularly anyway, because they just shed bolts, because it's a KLR, and they do that. The rear subframe bolts tend to disappear out of this bike. I don't know how many seat bolts I've lost. 3 or 4 at this point. You'd think I'd learn to Loctite them, but I haven't. So here I am, rolling along. I'm in first gear. I tap the gear shift, and I feel resistance. Every bike gives different resistance. I find it goes by manufacturer quite a lot. Hondas tend to go all the way down. When you're in first gear, you just can't move it anymore. This is a Kawasaki, and it has a little resistance right at the top, so that I know that it's in first gear, and that's something you learn. All your bikes are different. You get the feel for what the gears are. You should never be mashing on that gear shift. You can bend your shift forks. So here it is. The slow part is just stop and go and stop and go and stop and go. And the fun part about this is you can kind of, it's a slow race. Keep your feet on the pegs. Go as slow as you can. Just roll up behind these people without putting your feet down. But then you gotta stop. So here I am. Clutch in. I'm not on the brakes because it's flat. Woman behind me is at a good distance. We always appreciate that. And here we go. We let the clutch out on the throttle, not on the brake, on the throttle. And clutch is fully out. Pull it in. Pull up. Do it again. And do it again. And I just downshifted. I'm in first again. pull it up into neutral so that my hand can thaw out. Good morning. I see that guy every day. He's not smoking today though. Yeah, so pull the clutch in, put it in gear, give it a little throttle, off we go. Over and over and over, because it's a red light. Everybody's so cold. And that's it. I'm going to stop recording because it's just got boring. Thanks.